The following is an opinion.
Dirk's opinion.
The views about to be expressed do not necessarily represent the opinions by Quality Digest and their advertisers.
Or me, or anybody.
Of course, if you disagree with me, you're completely wrong. Okay. This is an amazing story. In a ridiculous, greed-headed, that's my opinion, greed-headed approach to free up money at the expense of suppliers, companies like JCPenney, DuPont, Procter & Gamble are pressuring their suppliers to accept longer payment terms. So, you know, net 30 or 45 days, we're used to that, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we probably do, net 30 with our customers, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Okay, yeah.
Standard.
Forget about it. We're talking about net 75, net 90, net 100, net 120, 4 months out. Can you imagine if you sold something to an advertiser and they say, Mike, that's awesome. We're so glad to work with you guys. We'll pay you in 4 months.
Yeah, it's a cash flow issue.
Well, yeah. It's like, sure, guys, no problem.
Well, you want the orders. That's the thing is, you know, what you're getting to, I know you're going to get to this, is you're talking about big companies and much smaller, in many cases, suppliers.
Exactly, and we will get to that. Yeah. So the article I'm talking about here is by Kevin Meyer. It's entitled Net Nonsense. It's in this Thursday's Quality Digest Daily. In that article, there's also a link to a great Wall Street Journal article by Serena Ng called P&G, Procter & Gamble, big companies pinch suppliers on payments. And like I said, there's a link to it in Meyer's story. And also in the Wall Street Journal story, there's an embedded video that you absolutely have to watch. So read Meyer's story, read the Wall Street Journal story, read the watch the video and be prepared to gnash your teeth.
And write us a report on it.
And write us a report on it if you don't mind. Okay, so in the video, actually, according to Paul Ziobro, a consumer products reporter speaking to MoneyBeat, by lengthening the amount of time it takes to pay its suppliers, Procter & Gamble could free up as much as $2 billion in cash, money that P&G could use to fund investments in new factories overseas or to help pay for stock buybacks. So, what about the suppliers? So P&G wants to extend their I believe P&G said they wanted to get an average. They're at 45 right now. I believe they said they wanted to get an average of 100 day, right? So what happens to the supplier? What happens to the small supplier that now has maybe a cash shortfall? No problem. They've got a brilliant plan. P&G, DuPont, Penny's, these guys will work with your bank to give you a short-term loan. Isn't that awesome? I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? They'll go to the bank. They can show the bank, look, you know, here's the invoice from Quality Digest or whatever. You can see we're going to be paying them in 120 days. And they're having a little cash problem, you know, work with them. And for the bank, it's a no-brainer. They can see the invoice. They can see the, you know, P&G, they trust they're going to pay, right?
Sure.
So for the bank, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. Of course, now the bank's going to take 3 or 4% on that short-term loan.
Well, you know, it's funny because I have an Uncle Nino.
Yes.
He does something very similar to that.
Yes.
You know, some knuckles are involved many times.
Uncle Nino. Uncle Guido. So this is the way it works, right? So this is how it works. Procter & Gamble gets an extra couple billion in spare cash to spend on making a few $1 billion more.
Sure,
the bank makes 3 or 4% on that short-term loan, and hey, the supplier, they get to have a customer like Procter & Gamble, DuPont, or Penny's who has them over a barrel.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Something's a little wrong here.
Take out a loan. Take out a loan.
For your receivables.
Make the customer take out a loan for the money that they owe you.
Yeah, for your receivables.
For your receivables, yeah. That's like, oh, that's perfect sense,
yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, this is brilliant. We're in the wrong business for sure. And look, we're picking on Procter & Gamble here, but in the Wall Street Journal article, it isn't just P&G. It's Penny's, it's East Tech International, I believe they're a medical supplies company, Kimberly-Clark, Church & Dwight, Newell Rubbermaid, and DuPont. These guys are all looking to extend their payment periods, right?
It's a great plan.
It's a great plan. But I mean, look, you got to feel for them a little bit. There is a reason. This isn't just willy-nilly. They're not just like pulling this out their rear end. I mean, there's actually a reason for this. And okay, I got a quote here. This is from Nick Fanandakis, Chief Financial Officer for DuPont, who said, makes sense, you don't want to have excess cash tied up in the company that's not generating any value. Well, Nick, yeah, man. I can see how having excess cash would really suck.
Well, what about...
You know what sucks more?
It's being the supplier in that
Not
circumstance.
having any cash. That's the
you have a
position
loan.
you're putting. You have a loan. I can get a loan. No problem. Hey, I got an idea. I know what they can do with this excess cash. Hey, how about paying your suppliers in a timely manner? How about contributing to the American economy? Think about this. DuPont, Penny, East Tech. Think about this. 95% of American businesses are small businesses. That means the people that you are your suppliers most likely are companies the size of Quality Digest or a little bit bigger. 20 employees or less. Those are the people that you've got over a barrel. Those are the ones you're saying to be your personal bank so that you can spend your money elsewhere. How about supplying the American people a real value in paying your bills on time and in a timely manner? What you're doing, honestly, it may be legal, obviously legal, but it is unethical. There is absolutely no integrity in it, and furthermore, it's hypocritical. Let me show you why. Chris, put up that first slide. This is from JCPenney's Supplier Principles. This is right from the JCPenney website. At JCPenney, we commit ourselves to the values expressed in our Statement of Business Ethics, which is derived from the belief of our founder, James Cash Penney, in doing business according to the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The JCPenney Statement of Business Ethics sets out the standards by which all JCPenney's associates promote a culture of integrity and legal compliance, including guidance on relations and interactions with suppliers. Next slide. From DuPont, our mission, vision, and values. This is excerpted from that. Safety, concern, and care for our people. Protection of the environment and personal and corporate integrity are this company's highest values, and we will not compromise them. Next slide. From Procter & Gamble, purpose, values, principles. We develop close, mutually productive relationships with our customers and our suppliers. We build superior relationships with all the parties who contribute to fulfilling our corporate purpose, including our customers, suppliers, universities, and governments. The key word throughout all of those, integrity. Guess what? There ain't no integrity in that.
Well, you know, Dirk, I think that you're laying out an issue here, and you're being pretty hard on some of these companies.
Sorry?
But that's okay. I think that.
But I mean, cash flow is a big deal.
Cash flow is a big deal. And I mean, certainly cash flow for small companies is a huge deal. And what you're saying here is this is very much a David and Goliath thing. What Kevin Meyer is saying in his article is that these huge companies are looking at their suppliers as banks. And the reason they're doing it is because they can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
If you have an order from a big company like that, they probably, in most cases, these companies that are doing this to their suppliers are those suppliers' biggest customers. I would say almost in every case, probably that's the case.
Right.
And what choice do you have? I mean, you can't lose the business.
Glad you asked that.
Yeah.
What choice do you have? You can lose business if you're able to do it. Just happen to have it here. Executives at Federal Mogul, a supplier of automotive spare parts to wholesale and retail distributors, told analysts on a conference call in February that they don't intend to continue extending payment terms in the future. Quote, if we need to lose market share because of our terms, I'm willing to concede business if we cannot continue to operate on the margins or the terms that are reasonable for our organization. That was from Mike Broderick, Federal Mogul's CEO. So there you go. That is an option. I mean, my feeling is if you have a customer who is trying to extend terms beyond what you think is reasonable, mm-hmm. and you are in the position to be able to do it, I say bye-bye.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way there's going to be pushback. And there wasn't just Federal Mogul. There's others who are saying the same things, going like, okay, wait a minute, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, come on.
Well, you know, the supplier-customer relationship does not have to be an adversarial one.
Right.
But sometimes it maybe does have to be a little bit on the edge of that, where you need to stand up for what you need for your organization, as the CEO of Federal Mogul said there. You know, we're going to do what's best for our organization, and each organization needs to determine that for themselves, what is right for them, and to push back it's the only way it is going to change. Right? Is to just push back on that level. Really interesting story.
Yeah, it's good.
Really interesting
good read.
story.
You got to
Good
read those.
Yeah, read all the Wall Street Journal article.
Wall Street Journal and watch the video there.
It was great. Read that video, watch that video, and check that
Absolutely.
out. And again, you can access that right down there, right through the player page, bottom of our player page there. The article is right down there. So.